Hello?
Hello, Rudy. Jason Saulnier here.
Yes.
How's it going?
Jason?
Yeah,
It's going terrific. How you doing?
going good here too. What you been up to these days?
Oh, we're rolling. Hey, how you doing?
Rudy Sarzo, how's it going?
It's going fantastic. Enjoying a Mother's Day here in Los Angeles with my wife and our little dog, Tori. That's our kid. And it's all doing really, really well. Nova Scotia, I've always wanted to go there. But I was supposed to play there with Blue Oyster Cult a few months ago, and for some reason, oh yes, that's right, Donald Roser, better known as Buck Dharma, he fell. He had an accident in his house, and he fell, and he was out of commission for about 6 months. So they had to cancel the show, but I'm really looking forward to the opportunity of playing there someday.
Well, I hope you guys come soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in the summertime.
In the good old summertime, we need to see Rudy Sarzo and Blue Oyster Cult rip it in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
That's right. So yeah, what's going on? How's the music scene out there?
Music scene's not bad right now, but the economy's tearing it down here. It's not as good. I'm sure in your area is the same.
Yeah, it's ups and downs. In Los Angeles, it's pretty much the same all over the United States. And from what I see on CNN, it's pretty much like that all over the world too. Music, it pulls everybody together, and I think that it's a great opportunity for new bands to make great music to lift everybody's spirits.
That is so true, Rudy.
What is the most popular type of music over there?
Right here, they like classic rock, and they like metal. Metal and classic rock, and pop, I should say, too.
Good. So it's pretty much, the more I travel around the world, the more I find that musical tastes are pretty much the same. And I'm very glad to also know that, from traveling around the world, that classic rock is one of the most respected genres and the most embraced by most countries. We have fans. For example, I've played everywhere from Russia. I spent the whole month in Russia with Theo, traveling across, from Vladivostok, which is the very eastern end of Russia, all the way to the Ukraine and Belarus and all of that. And all the shows we always did sellouts. And with a very wide demographic. We had parents and their children coming to our show, because for the parents, it will be the first time that they would see us perform live. And for the kids, now it's the norm to have rock bands, concerts in their country. But when their parents were growing up and it was a communist country, that was prohibited. So it was really a treat to see both generations enjoying our music.
Like, let's say in those countries, would, the systems of PS3, rock bands and Guitar Hero be out there also?
Ooh, I haven't been in Russia since 2007, and those games were just coming out at that time. So, but I am very, very certain, yes, that those, because, it pretty much parallels the culturally. There's a big American cultural influence in Russia at the moment, and European too, with fashion and such. So I would not be surprised if Guitar Hero and Rock Band play a big part of that. Which also, I think that we were actually talking about is the fact that such video games has really sparked an interest in the young generation to listen to the bands that are part of the Rock Band and Guitar Hero catalog.
Yeah.
So I'll when I play with Blue Oyster Cult, I see a lot of kids recognizing some of the songs that we play that happen to be included in the video games, such as Don't Fear the Reaper or Godzilla.
And that basically gets the audience, the kids also, to know these classic songs that, they would have necessarily never heard.
Yeah, not only that, but also inspires them. I do these events called the Namm Show, which is basically the convention for the National Association of Music Merchandisers that happens once a year in Los Angeles. And I attend, and I've seen in the last 3 years a surge of a younger generation coming to the conferences who are actually musicians. And if you do a search on YouTube right now, you're going to find a lot of young bands. I'm talking, 14, 15-year-old kids that are just playing amazing.
You like hobby video, like you've been in video for a little while now. I remember, you with Corel, or you lead at the time. What's going on? You working with them, or what company you're going with?
Yeah, I've moved on. I am not with you lead at the moment. I am actually. There's various companies that I actually do some minor consulting, and actually not only do I use their software, but I'm also an evangelist for their software and the technology that they produce. One of them that I'm really working closely with is Nvidia. Nvidia is the manufacturer of the video cards, and they created the GPU CUDA technology that helps software such as Premiere and After Effects to give you quicker renders. You can render something that would take 5 minutes, and with the GPU technology you can bring it down with 64-bit Premiere down to like maybe 30, 45 seconds, depending on how many effects you happen to have on your timeline. And also I do the demos for Sony.
Mm-hmm.
For such products as Vegas. I have a stereoscopic 3D Fuji camera that I use to create stereoscopic videos, and I do demos of how to create, your own anaglyph videos, music videos per se, because that's what my target is, that I want to be able to share with musicians out there of all the great software and hardware that exists. And it's not very expensive. You can actually, for a couple of $100 for software, and if you already have the camera, you can start creating your own music videos, to promote your music and your band.
Let's say, Rudy, you make a music video. How many hours you put into that, when you're doing something like that?
Oh, it all depends. I mean, as a matter of fact, it's one of those processes that the more you do it, the faster you get it. And it actually all depends on how much content you have, how much you have of your A-roll and how much B-rolls and inserts you're going to do. And if you're going to do like a back story, like interviews, for example, I did one for Quiet Riot, and it was during the recording of the album Guilty Pleasures. And I just went in with the camera and caught, everybody just being themselves, recording and hanging out. Then I did an interview. I asked everybody the same 10 questions, and I edited everything. So, I mean, it all depends how creative you get, how involved you get. But the way that I look at it is I'd rather be doing something like that, productive, that at the end of it I got something to show for, than to be actually playing a video game.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, my version of I get as much entertainment out of doing that, and it's as much fun to me as if I was playing a video game. But at the end of it, I got something to show for it.
Yeah, you got a product out.
Yeah, exactly. So for me to spend 8 hours doing it, it's 8 hours of fun. And I can, and with the laptop, you can do it anywhere. You can do it on a plane. You can do it at the gate. You can do it in your hotel room, backstage. As a matter of fact, I did all my editing for that video that was actually included as a bonus video on the CD. I did that while the band was while we were mixing the record. I just sat in the lobby of the studio and just edited right there. Very easy, very intuitive.
Rudy, what's your first, thought on, going with a computer? Like, when's the first time you ever start working with a computer?
Well, my first computer was actually an Amiga, but it was very limited. We're talking about 1988. I got an Amiga, and of course, I mean, we're talking floppy, floppy disk and all of that stuff. I mean, and no real storage like we have nowadays. And then after the one that I was able to be the most productive with for the very first time was an Apple Quadra 650 a Mac, and I was using that with a Session 8, which was a Digi Design Pro Tool system. It was the first version that you could actually record 8 tracks with. And then after that, Acid SoundForge came out with the program Acid, and that turned my head around. But it's even today, it's only available on the PC. So I went from the Mac to the PC so I could use Acid. And then I created for the Acid loop library, the first bass loop library that they have. As a matter of fact, they still sell it. It's called the bass Working Man's Bass. And I've been using PC ever since. I mean, to me, a PC or a Mac is just the difference between a Philips screwdriver or a flathead. You know, it's a tool. The software is the most important thing, and actually, not only that, but like if you start using like GPU technology, that really enhances your workflow because you start working so much faster and efficient. And I use only Nvidia graphic cards.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I just got the new 3D stereoscopic Nvidia screen with the shutter glasses system, so I can go beyond just creating anaglyph 3D content. I can also create the polarized like they have it in the theater, with that system.
Now, Rudy, when you film stuff, let's say today, with a camera system and all that, you do everything in HD 1080p.
Actually, right now I'm doing everything in 3D with the Fuji, and that one is right now it's only 640 by 480, and they're talking about coming out with an HD version later on. But I shoot everything 3D.
Everything 3D.
And I can actually. Yeah, in 3D, so I'm getting the left and the right. So that way, I render 2 versions. I render the 3D version, I render the 2D version separately. But see, if I do it at 640 by 480, all I have to do, I have the software to up-res that to HD.
With a music video, would you go at it also with a 3D camera?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, like I said, I do everything 3D now.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, the demo that I did at the Namm Show was with a 3D camera, with a Fuji camera. Oh yeah, and it's working great because even though I'm shooting at 640 by 480, I can still up-res with the there's a software called V-Reveal that will not only clean up your footage, but also you can up-res that to HD. Great. It works fantastic. I mean, for anybody out there, just check it out. It's V as in Victor, Reveal. It's all one word, and it's very, very, very inexpensive.
And this will take any normal footage and convert it and clean it?
Oh yes, absolutely. Oh, I stabilize it. We'll do a whole bunch of features. And also we'll relight it for you, clean it, sharpen it. It's kind of like Photoshop but for video.
And their presets are really nice?
Yeah, there's some presets, and then of course you can go. You can start with a preset, and then you can alter it per needs.
Now, Rudy, do you do any mastering also? For your audio part of the videos?
See, when I do a music video, what I like to do is I like to sync the studio audio to the video itself. It's very simple to do. If, for example, I've done music videos where, let's say, I'm with Quiet Riot. This is back, like 3 years ago, and we happened to be playing at a festival, and they had jumbotrons, which means that there were guys with cameras videotaping you as you're playing live, and then just having that shown on the big screens. So at the end of the show, one of the camera crew guys came over and handed us the footage. So we had the footage, but no audio because they only shot the video. But it was simple. I knew the set, of course, and I knew what song for example, we picked one of the songs from the new album that we were actually playing live, and what I did is I took the footage of us playing live and sync it to the studio version of the song. Of course, the tempo was a little bit faster, so you just slow it down, and then you use the rest of the songs that were from the set, and you insert like the glory moments, the highlights of the show inserted within the song. So right there you have your B-roll, which is your the footage from the other tunes, and you have your A-roll, which is the actual tune that you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't need to remaster anything because you're just it's already been mastered for the CD itself.
But let's say, Rudy, let's say you be filming something with Blue Oyster called backstage and stuff, and you gotta be normalizing the volume. Let's say, is there certain things you go on to do that? Let's say you don't have soundboard feed and stuff.
No, because what you do is you just prepare yourself. You must. I mean, if you go to, if you do things after the fact, it's gonna work against you. You have to, you have to come prepared. I mean, it's not you're not gonna get as good of a result if you're just doing things off the cuff. Mm-hmm. So if you are gonna shoot something, you make sure that you're gonna have a really good audio feed or a different audio source for recording, such as coming from the board, or even use the recorded version from the CD and just use the live footage in sync to that. Because otherwise, you're working against which is the outcome that you want, which is to have the best representation.
Now, when you go on tour with Blue Oyster Cult, are you filming anything to prepare something for the future?
No, I usually do that on a per need basis. I don't like to carry my camera because nowadays we fly everywhere, so it's not like I go out for like 3 months and I carry everything with me. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So it's like, again, if you're going to shoot something, make sure you storyboard it first,
mm-hmm.
so you have a clear vision of what must be grabbed, that's all the shots that you must have. I also recommend to do some really inexpensive Chroma Keying, which is just get a sheet. Make sure a green sheet. It's actually a green will work better than a blue. I mean, most people just use green screens now rather than blue screens. And make sure that there's no shadows on it, and just make sure it's a little stretched out so there's no wrinkles. And I would say just about every software, a nonlinear editor for video, it's going to include a really decent chroma keyer, mm-hmm. and so you can actually have different backgrounds. So you're not just bound to your environment. You can actually superimpose, your lead character on a really cool background, whatever you choose it to be, whether static or whether it's a film.
Why do you think the people move from a blue screen to green screen? Just easier?
It's because the blue from the blue screen, it all comes down to also pigmentation, and colors. There's a lot of colors that are close to the blue in the blue screen than the green in the green screen. You know what I mean? They're like in clothing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what you do is you just rather go for the green than the blue. There's more blue in the hues of nature, of things that we wear, actually. It all comes down to what people do wear for outfits and stuff like that, than the green. Because it's all pure green. It's RGB. It's the color extracted from the R and the G and the B,
mm-hmm.
from the color wheel. So what you do is it's 0 blue, 0 red, 100% green from the RGB.
Next question. What's going on this summer with Rudy Sarzo? Keeping busy constantly?
Keeping busy. I'm going to be touring with Blue Oyster Cult, and also I have a reality show coming out on VH1 Classic. It's called Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp.
Mm-hmm.
It was done by the Mark Burnett production company. They do Apprentice and Bachelor and and Survivor and stuff like that. So it's really really well done. They went in and did a fantastic job. So I'm going to be one of the 3 counselors in the show, along with Mark Hudson and Kip Winger, and it just follows our 3 bands. How they go from zero to heroes. Yeah, it starts airing in July on VH1 Classic.
Your website, let's say, are you commanding all that also? Doing it with the designs and stuff.
Rudy Sarzo,
yeah.
The website is pretty much static. It's a website. It's not so I actually do frequent the social networks sites, such as Facebook and MySpace, mostly Facebook. And but website, you put it up and it's there. It's not somewhere that you hang out and talk. There's no, it's not as intuitive as going to Facebook, let's say.
Do you find that Facebook and them are going on the right direction? For young bands and stuff to promote.
Since I am not the right guy to answer that, because I am not a young band. Actually, and I really don't promote a lot of my music on Facebook. It's more like to stay in touch with fans.
Right.
I am not one to post, what we're playing at and stuff like that, because I like to keep that, there's certain parts of my life that I like to keep private.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not using it as a promotional tool. I will let the people who happen to be in the town where we're playing at, once they hear on the radio, I will leave that to the marketing and advertising of the promoter, basically. Because it doesn't make any sense for me to tell somebody in Poland that I'm playing a gig in Dayton, Ohio. Basically, it's a social network like Facebook is global.
Well, Rudy, you've been a pleasure to talk to.
You too, Jason. I really appreciate it. Give my best to everybody in Nova Scotia.
For sure. The great Rudy Sarzo.
Thank you so much, Jason. Take care, my friend.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Happy Mother's Day.
You too, Rudy.